Hey everyone, so today I'm going to be doing a new tech video. This time I'm going to be talking about the WE-1911 Desert Warrior. The problem I'm having with this gun is after I fire it a few rounds, the slide will end up locking back and the hammer will be blocking the slide from returning forward. Actually, I think I just got it to do it right now. So it's stuck like this. And then I have to go in the back and push the hammer down and it'll return back to its normal position. But I thought the hammer was the problem, but it's actually not. If I pull this back, you guys can see there's a nozzle inside. I'll give you guys a close-up later when I'm actually doing the tech video. The nozzle inside is actually pushed forward all the way and it doesn't return back to its normal position. That is actually what's causing this slide to lock back, not the hammer itself. So I'll try to show you guys exactly what I'm talking about right now. So I have my mag here. I'm going to gas it up really quick. Should be already filled at about like halfway. So check to make sure there's no BB inside. No BB. So just pure, I'm running pure gas right now. So you'll see a few shots will work. And then right there, it'll lock back. And if you guys can see, the nozzle is actually pushed all the way forward and it won't go back to its normal position. The only way I can get out of this position now is just to manually push it forward. So I'm going to show you guys how to fix this problem. Alright, so you guys saw what the problem I was having with the 1911. So now I'm going to show you guys how to fix that. So first thing is make sure your gun's cleared. And then you're going to pull the slide back to the second position where this meets. And then you're going to push it out to the back. And you're going to remove it. So just take this out. And then your slide should be able to slide all the way forward and off. Now we're only going to be focusing on the slide itself, so you can put the lower assembly away. You can remove this so that it doesn't fly around when you're actually doing your tech stuff. And then you can also push this whole outer barrel and inner barrel assembly forward just to get out of the way. You don't necessarily have to take it out, just leave it dangling there. You're going to need a hex screw to get the screw in the back out, and then you're also going to need a flathead screwdriver to get this one on the top sight. So I'm going to start with the hex screw first. I believe the hex screw is size 2.5. Yep, 2.5. So you're just going to unscrew that hex screw. And then you're going to take a flathead. You're going to screw the top screw where the sight is. And then the sight should either just fall out or you can slide it out to the side. And then with that taken out, you're going to have your nozzle assembly here. So you're just going to take it out, but be careful, there's a spring inside. So just remove the nozzle assembly from the slide, and then here's a spring. Be careful not to lose that. Put the spring aside. Put the slide aside. So this is what we're going to be working with. This is a nozzle that isn't cooperating right now. As you can see, it's even hard for me just to push it in and out myself, like with brute force. So we're going to just take the nozzle out. So there's a Phillips screw down the middle of it, so we're going to take that Phillips screw out. then this should come out. Alright, so once you have this out, you can, I don't know if you guys can see it, but this O-ring is pretty destroyed. What I'm going to do is actually, I'm just going to take the O-ring off. Just use your nail and try to rip it off. Try not to damage it. If I can even get this off. Alright, there we go. So now we have the O-ring itself. You guys can maybe see that the O-ring is chewed up on this side. But yeah, so I'm going to turn the O-ring around so that it faces. So you have this silver piece and then you have the O-ring. The O-ring is slanted, so I'm going to slant it forward. So not slanted inward toward the silver piece, but slanted forward out. So I'm going to reinstall the O-ring. So now it should look like this. Okay? Now that we have that fixed, I'm going to put everything back together. So put this piece back in the middle. Screw it back on with the Phillips screw. Okay, once you got that down, actually before I put anything back together, I'm going to take my 100% silicone oil and I'm going to give it a quick spray on the O-ring. It's really important to keep your O-rings lubed so they don't dry up and tear. And then I'm going to take my nozzle, slide it back on. Okay, nozzle's back on. And it seems like it's moving a lot more freely than it was before. It's still a little bit tight. I think that's because the O-ring is damaged. I'm gonna have to replace this O-ring if I really want this gun to work perfectly. So, but as a temporary fix, it seems a lot better than it was before. So replace the nozzle, and then we're going to take the spring we took out earlier, put it back into the top groove, and then hold it upwards so that the spring doesn't fall out. Take your slide, and then you're gonna push this upward into the slide. Take your sight, slide the sight back on, make sure everything's in position, and then put in that flathead screw. Alright, so I've got that back on. It's good. Now that you have that back on, put in the hex screw back into the back of the slide. So screw that hex screw back in. Remember to keep holding the assembly against the slide. Tighten, and it should be back in. So the nozzle, it moves a little more freely than it did before. I'll give it a small extra spray of silicone oil just cause. And then put this all back together. Don't forget the spring guide and the spring. Got that. And then slide. Oh, 1 second. Take your lower, slide it back on. Make sure the spring guide doesn't get in the way. Slide it back on, pull it back, and reinsert that pin. That's it. Now you have the reassembled gun. Alright, so we got the gun fixed and reassembled, and now is the time to test it out. So remember, make sure there's no BBs in it, because a BB can get lodged in the barrel. And empty magazine, but with gas, so we can test fire. Back it back. And I ran out of gas. So it didn't lock back at all that time, so looks like it's fixed. Let me run a few more shots through just to make sure. Okay. Oh, it did lock back. Nozzle did lock back again. But it locked back a lot less than it did before. Like I said again, my O-ring was still damaged. I just flipped it around. But if I want this gun to be working perfectly fine, I'm going to have to replace that O-ring, which shouldn't cost very much. So I might actually replace that O-ring. But there we go. Now it works like 100 times better than it did before. Thanks for watching.